When you walk into a room, you might think that the person who captures everyone's attention is the one who talks the most. However, there is a strange truth about life. People often hear those who speak loudly, but they become curious about those who remain silent. Throughout history, many of the most influential leaders, the most respected thinkers, and the strongest personalities have left their mark not through their words, but through their silence. But why? Why do some people seem like the most powerful person in the room without saying a single word? Why can someone who remains silent leave a greater impact than someone who talks for hours? Perhaps we have been taught the wrong definition of power for years. Perhaps true power is not found in constantly explaining yourself to everyone, but in not needing to explain yourself at all. In this video, we will explore the psychology behind silence, why people are influenced by quiet individuals, and how silence can become an invisible source of power. Because sometimes the strongest people are the ones who speak the least. If you are interested in exploring human psychology, Stoicism, mental strength, self-discipline, and ways to remain calmer and stronger amid the chaos of the modern world, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. On this channel, we do not explore motivation alone. We explore ideas that can help you build a wiser, more disciplined, and stronger character in the face of life's challenges. Now let's begin to understand why silence is far more powerful than most people realize. In today's world, people are constantly encouraged to talk, to put themselves on display, and to express an opinion about everything. Social media platforms, television programs, and the fast pace of daily life tell us that the more visible we are, the more powerful we become. However, when we examine human psychology and the lives of great leaders who have influenced history, a completely different truth emerges. True power is often found not in those who speak loudly, but in those who know how to remain silent. Because silence is not merely the absence of speech, it is also the ability to think, observe, maintain control, and avoid wasting unnecessary energy. For this reason, quiet people are often perceived by those around them as stronger, more charismatic, and more influential. The fact that a person does not constantly feel the need to talk about themselves may indicate not a lack of confidence, but quite the opposite. Confident people rarely define their value based on the approval of others. As a result, they do not feel obligated to explain every thought they have, participate in every argument, or respond to every criticism. Their silence is not a sign of shyness, but a reflection of inner confidence. Truly strong people do not feel the constant need to prove themselves. Just as a tree does not need to remind everyone every day how tall it is, people with strong character do not need to continuously announce their worth to the world. Another reason quiet people appear powerful is humanity's natural curiosity toward the unknown. You can learn almost everything about people who constantly talk and share every detail of their lives in a very short time. However, people who speak less create a natural sense of mystery around themselves. The human mind loves to fill in the blanks. As a result, when people encounter someone who is quiet, they begin to think more about that person. They wonder what they are thinking, how they evaluate situations, and why they remain so calm. This causes quiet individuals to appear more knowledgeable, more controlled, and more effective than they may actually be. Silence is one of the most effective ways to leave a powerful impression on others without having to explain yourself at all. The power of silence becomes even more apparent during moments of conflict. Most people raise their voices when they become angry, become defensive, and try to convince the other person that they are right. Truly strong people, however, do not lose control of their emotions. They think before they speak, and they evaluate before they react. The ability to remain calm during an argument and to choose silence when necessary is a remarkable sign of self-control. Because shouting is easy, becoming angry is easy. Speaking without thinking is easy. What is difficult is maintaining control even when emotions are running high. This is precisely why silence is often a sign not of weakness, but of strength. Stoic philosophers also believe that true power comes not from controlling others, but from being able to control oneself. If another person's words can instantly make you angry or shake you emotionally, that person has gained power over you. However, if you can remain calm in the face of those same words, act thoughtfully and manage your emotions, then the control belongs to you. Silence is one of the most visible signs of that control, because silence is the ability to preserve your inner peace even in the midst of the chaos that surrounds you. This is also why the words of quiet people often carry greater weight. The words of those who constantly talk gradually become ordinary. Although people may seem to be listening, much of what they say is eventually forgotten. But when a person who rarely speaks finally says something, everyone pays attention. People assume that what they are about to say must be important. Just as rare things are often considered more valuable, words that are used sparingly become more meaningful. For this reason, many successful leaders, experienced executives, and influential speakers prefer to think before they speak and choose silence when it is appropriate. They understand that the power of words comes not from their quantity but from being used at the right moment. Another important advantage of silence is that it preserves energy. Many people spend an enormous amount of mental energy constantly explaining themselves, defending themselves, and trying to convince others. Yet it is impossible for everyone to understand you. It is also impossible for everyone to like you. No matter how hard you try, some people will misunderstand you and others will continue to think negatively about you. Quiet people recognize this truth early in life. As a result, they spend their energy not on explaining themselves, but on improving their own lives. Instead of trying to control what other people think, they focus on controlling their own actions. Silence is also a powerful tool for observation. While most people are speaking, they hear only words. However, people who know how to remain silent can see beyond those words. They notice facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, and subtle changes in behavior. As a result, they evaluate situations more accurately, understand people more deeply, and make better decisions. Because true knowledge often comes not from speaking, but from listening carefully. One of the greatest misconceptions in life is seeing silence as passivity. In reality, silence is often a conscious choice. Not entering every battle is not cowardice. Not responding to every criticism is not weakness. Not trying to correct every misunderstanding is not indifference. Sometimes the strongest action is to do nothing at all. Truly strong people know where to invest their energy. They stay away from unnecessary conflicts, focus on what truly matters, and live according to their own values rather than the opinions of others. Perhaps this is the greatest strength that quiet people possess. They are able to hear their own inner voice amid the noise of the outside world. They notice many things that constantly talkative people overlook, and they avoid many of the mistakes made by those who rush into decisions. For them, silence is not a weakness or a deficiency, it is an advantage, because silence creates space for reflection, provides opportunities for observation, and allows a person to connect with themselves. In conclusion, silence is not merely the absence of speech. It is deeply connected to wisdom, self-control, patience, and inner strength. This is why truly powerful people are often not the ones who speak the most, but the ones who know how to remain silent when necessary. They do not need to raise their voices to capture people's attention. They do not need to constantly explain themselves in order to prove their worth. They understand that true power lies in remaining silent while everyone else is speaking and staying calm while everyone else is reacting. Because sometimes the most powerful words are the ones that are never spoken. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And remember, the greatest strength is not always found in being the loudest voice in the room, but in knowing when to remain silent. See you in the next video.